Hello, folks, and welcome to day one of the MyxoTech website development diary. We are set up with the basic needs to start building this website. I've installed my starter package, my blueprint, where I have all my plugins prepared and the basic settings I need to work in the best way to just really suit my workflows. It includes this sample start page that is just a bunch of random nonsense on it that I'm going to be deleting in due time. And in the backend, I started setting up the media library. This is all the image material that the client has already provided me, including a bunch of stuff I made from these vector logos. Like I just created that with Inkscape, because originally they gave me this and I needed a negative version, so I did that, and then I created a favicon, which I've already also implemented. It's right here, and it's both as an SVG in here and as a PNG. We have design assets, and we have photos of the people that actually right now we don't really even use in the design, but it's good to have them here because in the future they might still become relevant. And I have this library here, and in the settings I set up site title and tagline. It's already optimized for search engines, so it's about 58, 60 characters, something like that. Fits quite well. Actually, all the updates are installed. This is just a false positive, so this is up to date. We're using Bricks 1.9 point whatever the latest is. It's May 18th. And the latest advanced themer. So these are the two main tools you'll be seeing while I'm building this website. And I think this is all I need to get out of the way before I start building. I'm going to start the stopwatch too. I should have started it a moment ago, but here it is. And we're going to get right into this. So let's look at Figma. This is the design that we want to build. It's the MyxoTech website. Surprise, surprise, it's not Amazon.com. We have our header here. We have the intro section with this nice opener blurb, answers all the most important questions: who, what, why, when, where, how, what for, who for, all of that stuff. And we get into the next section, which is credo / mission statement. I always like to follow up my openers with a mission statement, which basically says we believe in A, that's why we provide B. So we go from a core belief that drives this company, that gives people a way to connect to the company and to the people behind it, their philosophy, and leads over into what the company actually offers. And I like the way that is framed. So every once in a while, obviously this is just a blueprint template like this. We believe in A, that's why we offer B, but it kind of, I'm trying to loosely follow that. Then it follows, well, the next part is the products and services. So we talk about what they do and what they offer. We have an about us section. We have the frequently about us section is a little bit more into history and mission, frequently asked questions, self-explanatory. We have the MyxoTech team. This is a PNG right here with the transparent background. I'll probably actually save this as a JPEG because the background is white. So, there's no reason to have a large PNG if I can have a smaller JPEG, but we're not getting there today anyway. And I might ask the client actually for the project files like PSD or whatever I can open then in GIMP to sort of change the layout or the look of this a little. This background color isn't really being used anywhere else. I think they used it in their promotional materials, their early promotional materials that they gave me as blueprints, as inspiration to create this design, but it kind of feels out of place now that the design is pretty much ready. So I want to work on this a little. We have little cards for each of these people, and then it just is capped off by a footer that does what footers do. It footers around. So we are gonna go start with the header. This might be just as far as we get today. So first of all, we're gonna go here in the menus. I've adopted this habit of collapsing this because first of all, look at how much space this saves. Well, I mean, right now, of course, it saves space because this is this is expanded. But even then, if I collapse this menu, I get more horizontal space, and I find it easier to just remember what the icons look like than to look for appearance, which, especially if you sometimes use WordPress in German and then you use it in English again, you're kind of looking for different words all the time. So I often find myself getting lost, like where the hell is compliance? Where the hell is users? Oh, right, it's Benutzer. Oh, yeah, I guess it's somewhere there. And then if I just collapse the menu, then all I need to do is look for this image. So might be a quick life hack for you guys. I don't know. Depends on how you roll, whatever floats your boat. So let's just remove these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare these, where are we? In Figma, these menu items. They're just going to be anchors, right? Because it's a one-pager. So I'm going to do this now. I'm going to pause. You're going to see when I come back where we are in the on the stopwatch. All right, here it is. So I've created all the menu items, pretty self-explanatory. We've got the links here with the anchors, and obviously we want to have a slash in front of them, because if ever there is another page on this website, then, you know, we want this to, when we click on it, we want to land on the start page and then the anchor on that start page, the home page. One thing we need to do is this contact needs its own CSS class, because, you know, it gets its own styling. So how do we add a CSS class? It's just not possible. You might think, but it actually is. You need to go to screen options, and then here you need to go CSS classes, enable that, and we call it menu contact. There. Let's call it menu highlight. Let's use a more generic name, because then, you know, we can highlight other stuff, and it's not, if ever there's not going to be a contact, but another highlight that we want to add. Just a little thing about scalability and maintainability. So before we can even do anything here in the header, we want to set up our colors. I have not prepared those. Shame on me. There is a basic palette here. We're going to be using Advanced Themer's color palette tool, and we're just going to get the colors from Figma, and I'm going to show you some of the magic that Advanced Themer can do. So in Figma here, I just press escape until we're on the top level, which where we already are. Go to local variables. We've got the colors. We've got a base color. And we've got a fill color, which is just a slightly brighter version of the base color. I actually, while I was building this, I kind of saw this. I thought this was kind of redundant. So what I'm going to do is, actually, I'm not too sure. I want to, like, the base color is also the color that you know, this text is using. So this is something to think about. Like, do we actually know? Let's just keep the text black. I think. I'm going to think about this for a moment. All right, so we're not going to take the fill color from this into the actual build. We're not going to take the base color. We're going to be using the fill color. We will have an action color and a darker shade of that. We will have the brand color, which actually in this design doesn't come up very often. It's the brand color that, you know, they use for in the logo, and it is used again when we have the name of the company somewhere, right? It's again at the bottom pretty much, and that's it. So not so much, but it's there. And we have an accent color. Hang on a second. I thought I renamed these. So this is our accent color. What the hell? Okay. Really? I think I just ran into a Figma bug. I cannot rename this color. Okay, I mean, fuck it. This is our accent color, and this is our action color. So whenever you can interact with something, it's green, okay? So you can see you got the green buttons here. You got a bunch of links further down. You've got these drop-down things, and that's our action color. I think it came out quite nicely that way. Something that, you know, obviously originally I wanted to use this as an action color, and then while designing, I decided, no, let's do this otherwise. Now we go and we grab we don't use the base color, we grab the fill color, and this is our fill color, right? I've already prepared these in my blueprint because I usually want to use the same kind of color across. Let's make this 15, 15, 15. There is a base color. I always have a base color in my designs because there might be a reason I want to just have a shade of gray or like a, very dark, basically close to black color. And then of course there's also white because it's easy to just then click when I select it, when I need it. We have the accent color. Copy this. Accent is here. There, and we want a darker shade of this. So here's some of the magic that advanced themings can do. I can generate shades. Let's say I just want to have, I really just need one more, two shades altogether. So we don't want a light shade. We just want a darker shade of this. And it's not actually that much darker. I'm going to eyeball this. So how do I think I need to use custom scales. We've got accent. Yeah, sure. That's the base name. We add one color. I mean, at this point, I could just do it manually. I think Maxime used to have an option in here where you can say, I want to go 10% darker, 10% brighter. But we don't at the moment. We used to have that. I mean, okay, then let's just make this darker shade here. It's still better to use the shade generator because now these colors in the manager, they're going to be linked to each other, so you can handle them together. You can drag and drop them and stuff like that. So generate scale. Right, I don't need accent 1. I don't know what I just did there. I need accent. Yeah, and I named this incorrectly. We're going to do this properly the next time. This is D1. Okay, so these are our accent and accent darker 1 colors. And we want an action color. Now we're going to do this right. First, let's get the brand color out of the way. We have the brand color here. By the way, like you press tab here so that it accepts it, right? I tried enter at some point. I tried space and that didn't work. It kind of confused me at first. But then, once you know. We have the action color. It's right here. Going to put that in here. Actually, no, just generate shade. No, okay, let's see. We have our action color. Then we go to the shades generator. We want custom scales. We want 2 shades. And I kind of want 1 shade. Yeah, that's really what I want. So it's just that 1 darker shade, right? And so this is what I want. I'm just going to put this in here. It's just slightly darker. I might make this a little darker later. I might make this a little darker now. Perhaps. Yeah, something like this is not too bad. So we have more of a difference here between the darker and normal shade. And we can see the preview here. Yeah, no, that's fine. So what I need as a base is action D, and then I generate the scale. And I have D1 and D2 for some reason again. I'm going to talk to Maxime about that. It's kind of confusing, actually. Also goes to show that I haven't used this color manager in a while. But still, now we have the colors we want. So this is fine, right? Now, we can start designing. We go to the header. We have a header section here. The header section is a div tag, because I learned this from Udoro, Cracka, SE. It's not a section. It's semantically, it's not a section of the website. It's just the header. And I believe we're going to look in the source in a moment. Actually, we're going to look at the source now, because now I want to be sure that I'm not telling you nonsense. Yeah, see, so Bricks actually includes a header with the header tag here, and then inside you have all your stuff, right? So there we go. I'm sure if Kevin watches this at some point, he'll find something wrong with what I'm just doing, because I'm not 100% sure I'm doing it perfectly right. But you know what? I'm going to end up with a working website, and we all live and learn. Also, this is free, so don't complain. The header section is going to be background color. We can style this at the ID level because this website is only going to have one level, one header, right? So why faff around with classes and stuff? So obviously it's pretty self-explanatory what I just did. We are gonna have the menu here. Mission service about us, FAQ team contact. Why is this menu? Oh yeah, okay, because I just need to refresh. Did it save or did it not? Now it's saved. Speaking of which, I wonder if I don't think I've implemented the fonts yet. We're gonna finish building the header, and then I'm gonna implement the fonts. Or if they're already implemented, I'm gonna show you how I did it, and then we're just gonna select them. So we got mission service about us, FAQ team contact. Let's look at Figma. In terms of spacing, this is already set up pretty nicely. Plus, I can always change it later. So by default, this is also just something I prepare in my blueprint because it's just my preferred setting. Normally, if you just use the nav menu thing, every nav menu item has a 30 pixel margin on the left, which makes the spacing kind of uneven, kind of destroys the rhythm. It makes sense because these are list items, which as they should be, but they're not we're not styling them as list items. Instead, we're styling them as the menu. So there's that. We're using, as a gap, we're using a space variable, space M variable. I prepared a bunch of variables. I have basically, as you might have noticed, I'm not using ACSS yet. At this point, I do own ACSS, but I kind of started with Advanced Steamer last year in July of 2023. It was actually the first time I started using a Bricks add-on. And I've been using it since then, and only later did I buy ACSS because I do see its value. But I also, just in my practical day-to-day workflows, I haven't yet seen a reason to really use the advanced features that ACSS provides. I've been getting along quite well with my rudimentary framework with a bunch of variables that I just created, obviously stolen from Kevin, the way I created them, or like, you know, the ideas. And he doesn't own this knowledge, and he'll be the first one to tell you. And yeah, that's, I don't know, I lost my train of thought. We have, tell you what, this is actually pretty close to what I actually want. I want a hover style for this, so I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna select hover. I want we're not gonna make any massive jumps. I might come up with a sort of nice nifty animation for this later because the client does want to have some bling on this website. So this is one thing where I might, I don't remember. Oh yeah, okay. Where I might be using animations later, but we'll add that when the time comes. For now, I want on the top level, I want the active. This isn't really quite going to work as well. I'm going to explain in a moment. I want the typography to be just this accent color, and it's as simple as that, right? Although there might be a case to be made because we're interacting, it should be the action color. Yeah. Yep. It's not going to look that green. It's only a hover effect. So why are we not using an active background color? So what this active is that if you have a multi-page website and you want to highlight the page that the user is on at the moment, which is of course a good thing in user experience, then you want to have this active background color. But here's what's going to happen if I use an active background color here, let's say, or any color, right? Active typography. I'm going to make an active background color to distinguish this, and I'm going to make it ugly. because why not? Right. So it should, I might be mistaken here. Perhaps Bricks is actually smart enough for this. If I save and if I look at the header in the front end, oh, look at that. Huh. Well, obviously they don't work right now because I don't have IDs assigned. Wait, what am I doing wrong? Oh, never mind. Sorry about that. I wasted your time. You probably saw what I was doing wrong the moment I was doing it wrong. So I was on the hover styles, and then yes, the active background is while I'm hovering. So that makes no sense. So when I hover, I want this. And then I want the active menu item, the active page that I'm on, I want that to be highlighted. And I'm sure you can guess where this is going. There's only one page, and these are not pages that I select. These are anchors on the same page. So if I make an active background color, I expect now everything to just be highlighted. Exactly. Let's see. Yeah. So we kind of defeated the purpose here. I had this problem even back when I was building with Beaver Builder and GeneratePress, and I remember writing a bunch of hacky CSS to sort of work around this. I think for the sake of user experience, I do need to do that. So we'll get back to that later. I might not need to do that here because it really is just a one-pager. And I don't think I'm going to make this menu sticky. So by the time I click on mission or anybody clicks on mission, they're going to be here. Right, and then it's not going to be visible anymore. So it's going to be just as well. And just a couple of random thoughts about this, but here we go. I'm going to undo this, and I hope I explained why this clashes, this active background clashes if you are using anchors in your menus. You're gonna have to write workaround CSS. So just one of the things I haven't yet fully explored. I'm probably going to post in some community about this at some point because it is a mystery that I'd like to solve. I want to know the most elegant solution for this because I'm sure other people have come across this. I wouldn't be surprised if Kevin actually has something in ACSS that just fixes this problem, period. Now, contact. We want to have this bold and we want to have it in the accent color. So I'm not going to faff around much here. I'm just going to go write some CSS for this. And the CSS class that we gave this was menu highlight. I'm going to go color. And again, with ACSS as well as AT, they both do that. So advanced theme is what I'm using. I can just type anything from a variable. So accent. And, it tells me, it does this for me. So already we have this. And then I just go font weight, bold. In case you're watching this on a phone or something, here's what I'm doing, right? When you highlight, so I wrote, hey, come on. Yeah, so here you go, right? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna actually improve how Linux behaves with this zoom in thing because it's a bit annoying. We've got another 20 minutes, give or take. So let's see how far we can get. I think for all intents and purposes, this is good. I'm not doing the mobile responsive design for this menu right now. I'm going to do that at a later point. I like to just design the whole page, the whole website or whatnot for desktop with perhaps occasionally the odd swerve into responsive territory. And then when all is said and done, then I'm going to do the responsive design. So we want the logo here. We don't want it to be a div. We can just put a image in here. Whoops, Control Delete, I think it was. Yeah. So if I press I, no, wait, not while I'm in CSS. Is it I or is it M? Yeah, it's M. Yeah, okay. So we don't want an icon and we want the image at the beginning. So in ACSS, it's pretty cool that you have keyboard shortcuts. So if you press Shift, you're going to see what keyboard shortcuts do what, right? So if I press S, I'm just going to add a section. If I press B, I'm going to add a block. If I press M, I'm going to add an image, which is what I just did. In fact, come to think of it, I don't need an image here. I need an SVG. So Control-Shift-E, SVG. There might be an SVG element in here as well, but now we've done it this way. We have the SVG, we go to content, we go with all files selected. This company assets, media library. This is the SVG that we want to use here. We want to have a height and width. Come on, save. Bricks doesn't update. If any Bricks person is watching this, not ideal, but here we are. So I'm gonna press Control-Shift left to cycle through children and parents and go to the SVG. We want to have a width of, well, we want to have a height of 80. So 8 rem is about right. Don't have to be pixel perfect with what I did here, although I will say I like it that this is much smaller here. Yeah, this works better if it's smaller, so let's make it 5. See what happens. Yeah, something like this. Also, I think I stretched this in Figma, did I? Yeah, I probably did. Anyway, this is the actual logo. We want to have a, we want to make this clickable. Probably goes best with a clickable parent. So I'm going to wrap this in a div. Call the div logo. And I'm going to not make it a div, but it should just be an A in the first place, shouldn't it? I'm not sure what the best practice is here. The SVG obviously doesn't have an A around it. So what I want to do is if somebody clicks, they go back to the top of the page, right? Or the front page. That's the idea. So I'm making this an A. I'm using something that works. There's probably a best practice that I'm violating here right now. But again, your website's going to work. I'm sure there's an accessibility issue here. I will actually follow up on this and respond or get back to this in a later episode if I see this needs to be changed. If I learn this needs to be changed. So where is my link? Where is my there link? External, not, yeah. There. And I believe that's it. Save. And we've got the MyxoTech logo up here. Now there is a bug that affects, I believe, only images, not SVGs, on Safari on iPhones. And let me just quickly look that up for you guys. So yeah, there we go. What Safari will do, and there's somebody here says it's a bug, not a feature. It's a feature, not a bug. Is if you have an image in here and you set it to height auto or width auto, then it will stretch. It will not get it right. The image will not be, the aspect ratio will not be protected. And there are workarounds for that. And I believe depending on whether you set width auto or height auto, you're going to have to use different things. So if it is height auto, then I want the align self to be flex start. That said, this only happens on image tags apparently. This is when I first noticed it. So I'm not sure if an SVG is even going to be affected. To be on the safe side, I'm going to put in this little fix. So in the SVG, we told it to be height 5 rem and width is automatically set to auto. So what I'm going to do is with the width being set to auto, you see here that this solution that they proposed here is if I use height auto, but we have the width set to auto, we need to do something else. And I have this on my wiki. Okay, actually, this is not going to be an issue with an SVG, but if you run into this problem. Safari stretching images when using height or width auto. This workaround helps when height is auto and width is fixed. This is the one we just looked at. And then when width is auto in Bricks, you want to make the image a figure tag and then add this CSS. So basically you're just targeting the image inside the root and you're telling it to be width auto. So that should do the trick on Safari, on iPhones, in all cases. I think not just on iPhones, but also Safari on Windows will do this, which I don't know. I don't have Windows. Actually, I do. I could at some point in the future, I could start testing this. In case you want to check out my wiki, it's on mathsresources.fandom.com. If I remember, I'm going to put this, oops, in the video description as well. There we go. Okay. Less talking, more action. We have, when I find the header, we have this. So obviously this will require testing on Safari because I'm not entirely sure yet how this will actually react, but we have a height of 5 rem and this, you know, all of this to say we should be good with the header. For some reason, there's padding at the bottom of this. Why is it? Oh yeah, okay. Probably if we make this a flex and then we vertically center this. No. Okay, making this a flex removed whatever padding or space I had below the logo. Yeah, good for me. So now let me just quickly show you how I actually, because this was preset, right? I had this header section already. So how did I do this? I inserted a section thingamabob, a section element, but then I made it a div. Then inside I put a container, but I also made it a div. No, it actually is a div because a container is not a thing in HTML. And the container is set to flex with direction horizontal, and the items inside this navigation are aligned along the main axis to have space between. So, you know, if there's just 2 items, they're just going to flow to the left and right, and the space between is going to be what the space between is. Of course, this is just your basic header, which most websites that you're going to build are going to have. If you want to build different headers, you're going to have to use different methods. I think that goes without saying. Should we look at the fonts? I believe we should. I'm going to go to theme styles, typography. So the fonts, let's look at Figma. Our heading font is rag. No, it's not rag 123. It's Saira. And the body font is Courier Prime. And those are the 2 fonts that I have in use in this design. So Saira and Courier Prime. And let's see if I believe actually I don't have them installed on this build yet. No, I don't. So this is nice. We're going to look at how this can be, how you can make your life pretty easy with Bricks and Matthias Altmann's Webfont Loader. Webfont Loader. If you're seeing this Webfont Loader for the first time, then I recommend you actually read through this and also read about why another Webfont Loader and how it actually works. It is pretty cool. It's a fantastic tool made by Matthias Altmann. So let's go back to Webfont Loader. We're going to need Zaira. Oh, fine, great. Why? And am I mistyping the? Okay, that helps. I want the whole shebang, all the variants, all the subsets. I'm going to download this as a zip, and I'm happy. And I want the other one, which was Courier Prime. I'm going to download this. The instructions are up here, right? So do read the instructions, but you're going to see me doing this live now, so you won't really need to read them now. But if you ever want to do this yourself, then please read the instructions first. So we have these 2 zip files here, right? I just downloaded the 2 fonts, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to my netcup And in the folder MyxoTech WP content uploads, we already have a fonts folder that I made when I set up my blueprint. And in here, there's a ma custom fonts.css. I believe actually Matthias' script made that. Either way, it's there. And I'm going to show you the script in a moment, but for now, this is where we are going to upload the fonts now. So all I need to do really is to go on my computer and just unzip this and unzip this. Korea Prime and Zahira. Upload. So I'm uploading them to the server. So again, the steps I did here were to go to Matthias Altman's font loader, download these fonts as zip files, unzip them, upload those resulting folders to WP content uploads fonts on the FTP on the server. And now I refresh here. And these fonts will be available to me to use. So I go here, settings, theme styles, typography. I'm going to have a body font, which is going to be Korea Prime. Yay, how nice. I think it could be a little smaller. I'm going to do... Where's the font size? What am I not seeing? Oh yeah, right, typo body, of course. Okay, in a moment. And we're going to go for all headings, because all headings, I want the same font on all headings, so no point doing that individually. We're going to have Zahira. Yay, I'm your new website. Now we go to the variable manager, which we can do in Bricks. Did I? Yeah, there. No, okay, no, I do want to use AT's variable manager because it has more features and it is fully integrated with Bricks as of a couple days ago. We have our typography variables. I'm going to put this on the side because I want to see what happens here. We have typo body, and we're going to have maximum width of, I think 16 is enough. And then on a smartphone, might do 14. Gonna save to database, close, and we can take a quick look at how it scales. Does it scale? Yeah, it scales, does it? Doesn't it? I might, hang on. I'm not sure if it just scaled. Doesn't really scale, does it? What am I doing wrong? Okay, never mind, it does scale. I just set the min width to, min size to 2, and clearly it does scale. So we're good. So back to 14 pixels. And we can close this, and we've got our font set up. We've got all of this, but we do want the menu font to be not, yeah, not the body font. We wanted to use Zahira. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a utility class for that. So on the nav menu, I'm going to put a utility class. I'm going to call it I'm not going to call it Zahira. I'm going to call it sans. Not even that. I'm going to call it secondary font. Right? Less specific because there might be other contexts in the future. And the secondary font might change at some point. We never know. So this is what we want to do. We go to typography, and whenever we put the secondary font utility class on an element, we want the font to be Zahira. Bada bing, bada boom, and we're golden. Close this. Yeah, we're good. I think this is our header, and I think this is all we need for today. This is all we got. Let me check the front end. Yeah, this is looking much more already like what we built here than before. Why don't I why don't I increase the size of the menu just a teensy weensy bit. So don't want to use the font class on this. Do want to unlock the styles, typography, font size. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. There was something that I missed. Yeah, okay, there was something that I missed. I'm going to go back to the backend. So how did the magic work with Matthias's tool, with his font implementation tool? Oh my God, this is really on PHP 7? Okay, yeah, clearly I'm going to have to fix that. Okay, next time we're going to be on PHP 8.3. There's no reason for this. We are going to, yeah, WP code box. So his custom font script, you can get that from the website that I just showed you, the custom font loader, the web font loader. And you just get this PHP script. It's actually a bunch of changelog here as well. It's very nice. And you know, this is where the magic happens. I'm obviously not going to be able to explain any of this, but there you go, right? You can also use, if you don't want to use WP Codebox or any other code editor to inject PHP snippets into your website, you could just get a plugin, which is, yeah, it's explained how to use this as a plugin on Matthias's website. And there you go, right? That's it. Thank you very much for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye.